So you're looking for an AI tool that can take you from start to finish, whether you're a medical researcher, a PhD, or a professional. AnswerThis will have features to help you with every single step of your research, and especially with this new update, let's see all the things that are new and everything that you can do with AnswerThis. When you first come on to AnswerThis, you'll be brought to a screen that looks like this, and there's many of things to do here, but let's start with the prompt bar. You can ask it to find research gaps, find methodologies, or make a literature review on atomic structures as I have here. Next, we can then select which AI model we'd like to use. Quick Q&A is great to get citation-backed answers to research questions. Doesn't matter how niche or how broad, AnswerThis does a great job. You can also select full review to create entire comprehensive drafts with 50 plus citations, all to the exact papers that you need. Great for case reports, literature reviews, thesis statements. We can also select research gaps and diagrams or data analysis. I love these features that create diagrams with citation-backed answers as well, so you can trust the data that has been used. You can then select which database you'd like to use. We can select papers, internet, also our own library where we can save papers we find. We can also upload our own PDFs to use, and when we're ready, we can select more filters and adjust for what type of sources we need. First, we can adjust for minimum amount of citations that each paper that AnswerThis pools has. We can then adjust for journal quality, Q1 being the highest quality journal, and if you're like me, you might just want to select all of them. Then we can select publications. We have everything from journal articles to books and chapters, and then we can adjust what databases these papers are coming from. If you're a medical student or a doctor, you might want to use PubMed for a more clinical question, but if you're like me, you might just want to see all the papers that are out there and select all the databases. Next, we can select web searches. Here we can either search by government, edu, or all websites. My favorite thing about these databases are that they are updated daily. So we can also filter for when the paper was published. For example, if we want a recent paper, we can set this to be from 2020 and beyond. And if we want maybe more fundamental papers, we could set this to 1980. And when we're ready, we can click search. After your search is done, you'll be brought to a screen that looks like this. You have your literature review or result on the left hand side and sources on the right. If you ask me, I personally like pressing this button in the top right, and as we go through the literature review, you can see almost every sentence has a citation backing it. We see a table here. As we scroll down, there's graphs, and at the very bottom we see our reference list. From here, we can automatically adjust our citations in the 2000 plus styles such as APA, MLA, and so on. We also get to see our reference list here, and at the very bottom, we have the ability to export in the PDF, DOCX, LaTeX, and Markdown formats. We can also share this with our peers and mentors if we wish to maybe share a source that we find or an interesting part of the literature. And as we scroll on down, we now see our paper table. Here we can see our source information on the left hand side, abstract in the middle, and on the right we can also add in extra columns for each one of these sources. For example, we can select one of these pre-made ones like research gap, but you can also be more specific with a prompt if you like. And also, as we're going about these papers, we can see the Save To button. This allows us to automatically save the papers to our library. We can also select multiple at a time, and at the very top of this paper table, we can save these sources to our library. We can also create a new library directly from here by giving it a name, then give it which research domain it is connected to, and press create project to create your library. And maybe after we've created lots of columns, we might want to select all the papers, then click on export and export as CSV to keep those columns that we made. We can also export the BibTeX, Zotero, and Mendeley directly from here. Next, you might have noticed in the very bottom we have this add steps section. If we have all the papers selected, we can go ahead and click on Bibliometric analysis. It'll bring us to a screen that looks like this. It has macro data on our research space given our papers. We see publications by year, citations by year, citation impacts, so great ways to see maybe where those key papers lie. And as we go down, we can also see top authors and top terms here as well. Additionally, as we go through these papers, we might see one such as this with 783 citations, which we really like. We can actually go ahead and copy the DOI, then go to add steps, click on citation map. You can insert your research paper title or DOI into here, then click search. It will then bring you to a screen that looks like this. We can set our paper as origin, and we will see this citation map. From here, we can see the different arrows, how the papers connect with each other. We can click on any paper to highlight just the arrows on those papers if we want to see how they connect. And as we scroll down, we also see this paper table where we can save them to our library as we could do before. And we can also sort these papers at the very top here with the metrics button. And back to the paper table, if we see one of these papers with PDF available, we can actually go ahead and click on one or more, then click on add steps and press on chat with papers. This is a great way to extract specific insights from your paper. You'll be able to get citations that are directly taken from separate pages of this research paper, and it's a great way to get into the nitty and gritty of your literature. If we haven't already found so many papers that fits our research space, we can also click add steps, go to search new papers, and we can insert a few keywords or a prompt for our desired paper. We can then go to more filters, and it'll be familiar with the ones that we'd seen inside the literature review. And once we process it, it'll bring us to a paper table that we are now familiar with, where we can save papers to our library, use them for further use. And whether it's chat with PDF or a result such as this, we can also select text and click on add to notebook. Here we can add to a default notebook to create a new one. And as you can see, our text is inserted into this Google Doc-like format where we can change the style of the text. We can bold, italics, we can even add in images and tables directly from here, as well as change our citation style and share with our peers or mentors if we want to maybe share some interesting results that we found. And at any time, we can also add papers to our notebook in the exact same way. We can select our paper, click on add to notebook, and add the default to add it to the one that we were working on. And when we're happy with the notes that we've added into our notebook, we can actually go ahead and export it as we would with our result, and we can also open up this AI writer in the top right corner. Once we click it, we'll enter a screen that looks like this. As you can see, I have lots of notes on the left hand side, but if this is a blank slate, you'll also have your literature review or result inside the right hand side here as well. You can click edit with AI to automatically insert your literature review. As you can see on the left hand side, we can see 6 different features appear. The first one is analysis, and from here we can detect for plagiarism or AI immediately. As you can see, if I click on plagiarism, we can see that 6% was actually detected. I'm quite surprised. Normally AnswerThis actually gives me 0% detection, but we can click on any of these sentences. It'll bring us down and highlight the exact sentence which was detected for plagiarism. We can change it. We can add in a citation here to make sure that it fits with our criteria. We can do the exact same for AI detection as well. And maybe one of your sections got detected for AI. You can go ahead and manually change it inside the left hand section here. But on the right hand side, we can also select AI edit. Here, for any text that we've highlighted, we can go ahead, select reword, summarize, generate questions based off the text, as well as insert our own custom prompt. The best thing about this is that AnswerThis will actually go ahead and add in sources whilst it writes. If you click this button here, we can actually enter in keywords or prompt for what papers or sources we want to find. Click customize source settings in order to access that filter section that we had seen, and when we're ready, we can click generate. The result will look like this. We can tell it to replace the text, add it to the beginning or end, and once we're happy, we can apply changes. Next, you can access your entire library from here as well, and the best thing about this is that you can insert citations with just one click. And as you can see, my citation has been inserted. We can click on it, see the abstract. We can even view the publication if we wish. Search papers works the exact same way. You can actually add these papers to your library as well as add the citation too. And finally, we have this paraphraser. At any given time, we can maybe copy a piece of text, insert it in here, adjust for 9 different tonalities. We can tell AnswerThis if we want to shorten the text by putting this to the left, or if we want to make it longer by putting it to the right. And similarly, if we don't want the text to vary too much from what we've already have, we can put the variation to the left. But if we want to change it with regards to the tonality we've picked, we can put it all the way to the right. And once we're happy editing this text on the left hand side, we can actually go ahead, share it with our peers and mentors for them to maybe review the text, add in papers, or make suggestions. And once you're happy with your project, you can go ahead, export to any of these options here. If you're new to AnswerThis, your library will probably look like this. You can add sources, as we could see earlier. You can also upload files, anything from CSVs to images to PDFs and BibTeX if you're exporting from EndNote. And you can also integrate Zotero or Mendeley right here. Once you've integrated it, you can go ahead, click import from Zotero. To find your papers, you can click the ones you'd like to import, press import selected. I highly suggest that you keep download PDFs available so you can maybe chat with the papers and extract more data from them, and you can go ahead and select which library you'd like to add it to. Once your library is full, it'll probably look like this, and it has the paper table section that we're familiar with, adding columns, exporting as we would do. But the best thing about this is we can actually move papers in between different libraries that we've created. So if you're like me and have many different subtopics, this is a great way to organize your papers. And just like we could do with the literature review, we can select all these papers, create bibliometric analysis. We can also create new tables if we want to segment papers into different libraries based on the quality and etc. And on the left hand side, we can actually access different searches we've performed on AnswerThis in respect to which library. So as you can see, my atomic structures literature reviews in the atomic structures library. And we can actually select this, we can move it between libraries if we wish. And similarly on the left hand side, we also have our notebooks that we've worked on. We can access them at any time by pressing on them. And just like we could do before, we can also go ahead, click on it, move it between libraries, and we can also create a new notebook directly from here as well. We can also access our notebook by pressing AI Writer at any time from the left hand side, access our notebook this way, and we can also do the same for search papers if we only want to use this feature. And finally, we have this agents tool. Here you can see some of the tools that other researchers have made, such as Research Gap Assistant, the empathy rule, which is actually inspired by professors to mimic the peer review process using 7 steps. A great one to check out. And we also have a tone naturalizer here. And if none of that is your cup of tea, you can also make your own AI research assistant by pressing this create button. Here you can give it a name, you can make it public or private. Next, you get to give it a short description as well as a detailed description. This is more for show and to say what your tool is about. But more importantly, you also get to pick the system prompt. I highly recommend that you clarify what tonality you'd like, what the final objective of the AI assistant would be, and we have this little template here to sort of keep you on track for what you want to look out for. And when you're ready, you can go ahead, select which databases you'd like to use inside of your research assistant. You can even upload your own PDFs, and you can go ahead and create your very own AI tool. Share it with friends, peers, mentors even. And that is an overview of practically most of the tools that AnswerThis has to offer. I really hope you find this helpful. I highly advise that you play around with some of the tools I've shown you, try it out for yourself and really see how AnswerThis's features really covers every single step of the research process. And of course, we always love feedback, suggestions, what you'd like to see in AnswerThis. You can also send us a message through support at any time on AnswerThis. And with all that said, good luck researching.